Right, you lot, in today's video, I want to talk about the state of our transfer business. Now, I know I go on about it 24/7 on Extra Time, moaning, previews, everything, right? I even do separate videos on targets. But today, in my opinion, it's gone a little bit too far. So, let's start with Tarkowski, right? We all listen to X's podcast, and he brings out the news, and we see it obviously in the media. We know Sean Dyche come out the other day and was getting the ump, basically. He was saying Tarkowski's our player. You moaned about Danny Ings when he wanted to go to Liverpool. Now you're talking about this. And I think some of us thought, hang on, we're getting to him here because Ings went to Liverpool. He put the pressure on. They're Liverpool. We're West Ham. And West Ham, typically, under David Gold and David Sullivan, have a terrible business strategy. So I believe some of the deals that have been put forward are essentially minimal upfront fees. In some cases 20 million with £10 million add-ons, and that's kind of increased through the levels, I believe through 27 to 30. We know that he has a release clause, allegedly, according to Sky Sports, of £50 million that only applies to the top clubs in the Premier League. That's both Manchester clubs and Liverpool, all right? But Burnley potentially would sell for 40 million. Knowing this, having bid twice for the player, and by the way, the player isn't massively keen on coming to London anyway, Sullivan bid £31 million, and that's not even up front. We've wasted 3 weeks on a player that doesn't want to join us and the club don't want to sell. And it sort of, it is that typical West Ham strategy of pretending to go for a player, never fully, committing to it and doing what's necessary to get the player, and then saying we tried at the end. I think in the past we got excited. Lacazette, Baka, Maxi Gomez. It's this kind of foil for trying to hype West Ham fans up to get them interested. But we all know the deal. That we know what Burnley wanted and we just never did it. The other one is clearly the Declan Rice situation where X come out and now he said that Declan is aware of that interest. He potentially, his head may be turned by it given his family are all Chelsea fans. It's the news we really didn't want to hear. It goes to show that whilst Declan, I don't believe, will push for a move, I don't believe he'll hand in a transfer request. If Chelsea bid, and I'm interested to see what they bid for starters, because I think we were led to believe with a number of in the knows as well. I think his name's Fabrizio, something or another, Fabrizio. We'll just call him Fabrizio for now. Said that Chelsea are still interested in him, but won't pay the £80 million transfer fee. Most of us know that West Ham will sell for less than 80 million, and I don't believe they should. My issue really isn't with the fact that Rice is going. It's because I believe we all know that he's going. It's the fact that they've left it later and later. Rice is aware of it. In all seriousness, if Chelsea come in with 60 million, he'll ask to leave. That's what I believe personally. I do think the lure of working with Frank Lampard, working in a high quality team, playing in the Champions League, playing for England, playing with his best man, it's too much for him. As loyal as I believe he has been to West Ham, as committed he is to the club, when someone like that comes in for you, the likelihood is your head's going to get turned. David Moyes, despite having Grady D and Garner money, and we all didn't want Grady to leave, hasn't identified any new targets, as far as I'm concerned, or worked towards those. That's frightening, even in other problem areas. Then he's going to lose his best player, that I don't believe, if he's struggling to identify areas that are glaring to you that you've had months to do, how's he going to identify an area that, for a player that I don't believe can be replaced, even straight for £80 million? Every team around us has strengthened, and they were praying that they wouldn't. Fulham brought Areola in and Tete from Lyon. Good, solid signings, European experience. Aston Villa tied Grealish down to a contract. Brought in Ollie Watkins, who's been banging in the goals in pre-season. That's a problem area. Wolves have strengthened, brought in a young striker of 40 million euros, but in a deflated market. I hate to say it, but even Tottenham, Gareth Bale and Reguilon down the left wing. And we're going to try and compete against them. It's frightening. Liverpool, Thiago, what a player. Even the clubs like, you could argue, Man United haven't gone out and splashed a lot of money. Still bought Donny van der Beek in, a good player, a box-to-box midfielder that's going to add to their midfield. We're going to struggle this season. And I hate to say it. And I kind of felt like that before, but I just thought we've got some good attacking players. If we can sort of galvanise them, bring through a couple of the youth players that have got clear ability, Ben Johnson, for example, we might be okay. We won't go on and push on massively, but we'll do okay. But the longer this window goes on, the more at risk we are. David Moyes, if you ever watch this, and I know you won't, just buy left back. Just do us a favour and buy that. But obviously, everybody, until next time, until extra time, in fact, until the watch along, because Dan will be back. Dan came back for the preview. He's a regular feature of this channel. It's good to hear from the bloke. So I will be back on Saturday from 7:30, so you can join us then. That's it for me. Until next time, take care.